It's a lot brighter in here with the lights on. That's what I've noticed.
Use it ever.
You know, we were sitting. I didn't realise how much darkness we were sitting in. Doing
When
the other shows.
we're not
that we
recording
were doing.
video, we just sit in the darkness and do the
and
audio.
then what about the 20 minutes you made me wait while you did your makeup? Jesus.
What?
Was talking about
Makeup.
I got up this morning and I walked into the kitchen. I said, Victoria, you wearing makeup? You know, she's a teenager. She's going to wear makeup, right? And then Amanda said, this is her high school makeup. This is what she's like. It's very subtle.
So
but
she's allowed to wear makeup?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I said something and Harry goes, don't you wear makeup on the Today Show? I went, no, mate, I don't. Thank you very much. But
have you noticed that was like a COVID thing? They just stopped putting makeup on people.
No, this was way before COVID. They
Really?
just didn't bother with me.
They thought,
They
they said he's perfect already.
They said my skin was so good, it didn't need
Really?
it. No, what happened was I used to go in. To the Channel 9 and you'd be taken to the makeup. And after a year or so, you know everything, so you just go in.
Yeah.
And there'd be like 3 women and one of the main hosts in there just, you know, for 20 minutes, you know, being painted. And then I'd be standing there waiting for someone, you know, you're standing there just like a shag on a rock just waiting for someone to come, you know, say, come over, let's go. And a lot of the time they just go, hang on a second. They come over with a brush and just go.
Yeah, it takes like 20 seconds.
Yeah. And then at one
I
point.
can do that myself.
And then one of them just did it to me in the studio when I was standing around, and she goes, "You know what? Your skin's not very oily. Don't worry about it."
Yeah.
And I went, "Oh, okay." I've just taken that as the reason.
Yeah.
Not we don't care what you look like.
But the hosts, like Carl would be, he'd get makeup
Oh,
on.
mate,
Carl?
you should see him with that makeup on.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be watching. Is he going to be watching or listening to this? Carl, if you're listening, tell us what you think about the big fella over here. Trevor. Really? What about Sarah?
Sarah's beautiful. Whenever naturally
with or without
with
makeup.
exactly.
Yeah, good answer. Yeah. Good answer.
Mate, married 20 years. Are you kidding?
Good
I
answer.
know how to play this game.
Yeah, this
Anyway,
isn't our first rodeo.
Can we not talk about this anymore?
Well, yeah, you're the one who brought makeup up, not me.
I don't know why we got into abusing my friends, though.
Well,
anyway, moving on. Carlos.
Call me.
Mate, do a bit of work.
Trevor, who used to be on the Today Show.
Trevor Long, formerly from the
Former
Today Show.
tech expert of the Today Show.
Yeah. My daughter had a little dinner at pizza at the park last night.
Yep.
She had a WhatsApp group, with the girls just organising and everything. And I said, I just, not that I know Trust, but can you just show me that you've organised everything properly? Like everyone knows what's going on, the time we've been picked up and everything. Yep. She showed me the group description. And it was like, girls catch up.
Yep.
And it said, meeting at 6, then Trevor Long from the Today Show will pick up pizza and our parents can pick us up at 8 o'clock. And I went, good on you. Is
that how your children describe you?
100%. Amanda, I'm in my wife's phone.
As Trevor Long from the Today Show. Yeah. That's what I say when I see you in public. I yell it out as
it's not annoying at all.
Top of my voice. I say, is that Trevor Long from the Today Show? And you're looking around thinking, you idiot. I love that. I love it when you're uncomfortable.
I'm not uncomfortable. I think you're an idiot for doing it, but that's up to you.
It's funny. I think it's funny.
Yeah, hilarious.
People are looking around thinking, who? Especially when we're in foreign, we're in America, and people who wouldn't know the Today Show
true.
from about.
Hey, America's
Today Show.
Yeah.
But people look around thinking, who's Trevor Long?
A reminder that this program is available to watch on our Facebook pages and on YouTube, and the private feed is available almost at the exact same time as this drops on YouTube as well, but you need to find it in the description on YouTube. So the video version.
So let me get this clear. The private feed isn't available on its own. It's unlisted, but you can click on the link in the description to watch it.
Correct. So in the description of this video on YouTube, it always just says private feed and then boom. Oh, I forgot to do chapters last week.
But audio listeners, it's going to come into the feed on a Friday.
Audio listeners, nothing changes. If you're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts and everything, it's the same great value each and every week. Although last week I did stuff up. Apologies. Thank you to Matt Thompson, who flagged that the private feed wasn't there on the weekend. I just didn't upload it.
What?
You know why? Because I had a little bit of drama last week with uploading the video, and I got the irrits with it.
Right. I saw those responses.
Here's what I've decided. I've made an executive decision without Stephen. I've decided that on Spotify, it's just going to be audio, the private feed.
Okay.
I will continue to try and put the video version of the main show on Spotify.
Yeah.
But the private feed, just audio.
All right.
It's just a lot of extra
time. So the
time.
only place you can watch the private feed is on YouTube. In the description of this video on YouTube.
Whew.
Wow.
Are we making too many hoops for people?
No.
People are watching it.
There's options.
We see you.
Yeah.
We don't know who you are actually, but we know the numbers. and it's not that big. It's not a lot of people. That's why I keep saying it.
Getting there.
If you love
early
the private
days.
feed,
Early days.
early days, it is.
Early days.
We're pioneers of not this industry, but others. We're pioneers of podcasting, I would say. Would you just say?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been doing it a while. We're coming up to our 13th anniversary, Trevor. I hope you haven't forgotten.
I think we're going to be away, aren't we? I am.
We are too. Are you going to be away?
21st or 23rd?
22nd, I thought it was.
I leave on that day.
22nd.
You come to the airport and farewell me?
Probably not.
I'll wave as I fly out.
If you fly over,
What's
I'm
that,
not far
13
from the
years?
airport. 13 big ones, mate. Yeah. And it's actually Tech Guide's 13th birthday today.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you. January the 24th is our birthday.
You don't look you actually look a lot older than when you started it.
I don't actually. I think I've held up pretty well over the years.
I just realised I made a glance to camera that won't show up because I didn't speak.
All right.
And so Autopod won't pick it up.
Well,
very disappointing. I have to remember to edit that.
I'll challenge you this, right? How about we do this, right? Okay. We take a photo.
No.
For our 13th anniversary.
No.
And we compare it to the photo from our very
because one
start.
of us is aging naturally.
What? Gracefully, and the other one's aging disgracefully. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm just saying I naturally look older because I have grey hair, is all I'm saying.
But I've actually...
Naturally, I look older.
I've got more hair, but I've got hair.
Look, the photo won't be taken from the back. You won't see the monkey bum in the photo, all right? And there might have been a small recession here.
Maybe. Yeah, and you didn't have a beard either. When we first started, you were fresh-faced, no beard.
Baby-faced.
No, yeah, baby-faced.
Innocent.
And you decided to age yourself with a beard.
Yeah.
Is that what you've done?
I think it... Yeah.
But I grew a beard.
I just got lazy.
Do you remember when I grew a beard? My beard was epic. I had an
We
epic
went to the
beard.
football and you had a beard and it was like, whoa!
I went to IFA with a beard.
Did you?
Got stopped at the airport a couple of times.
Because that is a thick,
solid beard, yeah.
instant growth. So you must shave
dramas.
3 times a day.
I don't, mate. I only shave every 2 or 3 days. But
Really?
Solid, yeah. When it goes, it goes. Let's just say that, okay?
Are we still talking about your beard?
The beard. That's all aspects of my life. When it goes, it goes.
Welcome to Two Blokes Talking Tech
Not a bad price.
with Trevor Long from EFTM.com
Really handy device.
and Stephen Fennick from TechGuide.com.au.
Stephen, episode 617, thanks to the great people at Arlo and Netgear. We appreciate their support. And if you're looking for home networking solutions, Netgear's got you covered. If you're looking for home security, Arlo has you covered, which is exactly as it should be. And we appreciate their support, Stephen. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
I got woken up. No, I didn't get woken up. Did I get woken up? Anyway, the Australian government decided to hold a press conference. It's at 8:30 in the morning.
Yep.
And
you were still asleep or you were awake
no,
by then?
I was awake because we've got builders around. I'm awake every day now.
Monday, wasn't it? Monday.
I have to be awake and dressed by 7 because the builders are in the building.
Tuesday morning was Tuesday.
Yes, it was Tuesday morning.
Yep.
And so Penny Wong, Foreign Minister,
Yep.
Richard Marles, the
Yep.
Deputy Prime Minister,
Yep.
and Claire O'Neill, the Minister for Cybersecurity,
Yep.
all standing up. And the heads up was it was going to be about the Medibank hack.
Yep.
And they came out and they named a man as being responsible for the Medibank hack, a Russian man, Alexander Ermakov. Now, this guy, they also distributed photos of him afterwards.
And I ran them all.
And oh my God,
the
it's
DFAT.
like
Yes, I called him a baby-faced cyber criminal.
Yeah.
Do you reckon? You agree with
I
that?
mean, he doesn't. He looks more like he's going to become an investment banker to me. Don't you reckon?
Oh, well, I ran. Did you run his photo or not?
Yeah.
I put his photo up and I wrote it as this is the man identified by the
Well, just to
Australian
be clear,
government.
I ran it like 2 minutes after they said it, and then I added the photo when it was available.
Yeah.
But I wrote his name just as it sounded originally because they didn't actually put a press release out until after the press conference.
Alexander spelt with a K instead of an X.
And no E at the end, yeah.
Yeah, but no, I wrote it as in because the fact that they've been able to identify someone, that's a first. You hear about data breaches and all these things. The fact that they've used their international cyber sanction powers for the first time. So they've actually investigated and said, right, he's the one who did it.
Yes.
And the fact they found the guy through Channel 9 had very good coverage there. National Affairs.
Yeah, I think they had a little bit of a deal done. Yeah.
I bet they reckon too. They sat down with one of the like a white hat hacker who helped with the investigation. And it was in the dark web hallways, let's say, mixing with these people. It's fascinating that they actually found the guy and said, right, that's him.
Yeah.
He's there.
Yeah.
And what they've done is they've placed, and you can tell me if you think this is enough, they've placed financial sanctions against him and also a travel ban. So the travel ban, does that mean he can't travel outside of Russia or to Australia? If he tries to come to Australia, then you go, sorry, mate, you can't come in.
It means he can't come to Australia.
Yeah, so it's a ban to come to Australia.
So he can't do the bridge climb.
I'm sure.
Sorry, Alexander.
I'm sure he's crying himself to sleep over that one. But the financial sanctions, that's pretty. So no one can interact with him and sort of exchange even cyber cryptocurrency. If anyone pays him ransomware, it's also an offence as well.
Here's the thing. That's what worries me most. Yeah. They said you can't do business with him, can't transact with him, and that includes ransomware. So actually, they've just threatened every Australian with 10 years jail if you pay a ransom on a ransomware attack. Yeah. Because there's a chance it's him. Yeah. Right? I don't like that idea.
But you shouldn't pay ransomware anyway, should you?
I know, but people do, okay? Yeah. Because they're worried, they're scared. They shouldn't be threatened with jail because they paid a ransom to get their computer back.
I thought that, but then it highlights the fact that you shouldn't pay ransomware.
Yeah.
Another reason why you shouldn't pay rent, you're dealing with a criminal. So why pay them? There's no guarantee they're going to honour their side of the agreement anyway.
I know. That's a separate issue, but it just struck me as a bit strange that they would do that. Now, here's the thing. This is amazing. It is, without question, amazing. Richard Marles pointed out it was huge that Medibank opened their books, essentially, showed DFAT and the AFP into their system so they could find this information out. Massive. Really good stuff. But Australia imposing financial sanctions and Australia imposing a no-fly restriction. Yeah. It's like, he's giggling. Yeah. He's at home going,
do you think, do you think he's enjoying, do you reckon he knows he's been exposed? I reckon he would.
Definitely.
And do you reckon he's enjoying this notoriety?
So I think it's a roller coaster of emotions for him, because I think initially he's like, good on you, well done, whatever, what are you going to do? Because he's in Russia, right? But I think he's realised probably by now that it actually does impact him, because the dark web, ransomware, Revil, all these groups that exist to commit cyber crimes are very anonymous. Yeah. And so his anonymity has been taken away from him. Mm. And that's what I would have said. If I was Claire O'Neill, I would have said, listen, I actually would have basically said, listen, Penny, good work on the sanctions, but let's be real, he's never coming here to see the Opera House, so it doesn't really matter. No. But what we've done as a government, as law enforcement, as investigators, is taken away this man's anonymity. And that is what we can do to other cyber criminals should they attack Australia. Mm. Because actually, that's the worst thing. If you were a ghostwriter of a column that was super successful, but it was game-changing, like it would end your career if you were identified, then you don't want to be identified. Yeah. Same with cybercrime and the dark web.
I agree, and but that's the whole game of being a cyber criminal, is you're in the shadows. Yeah. No one knows who you are, and so what I wrote in my story was the fact that I really admire the fact that Australians are taking the lead here. Like in the past, they've always they've stood up to Facebook
the
and
FBI
Google,
has done this thing,
and it's good that Australians are saying, right, you want to mess with Australia, we're gonna do our best to find you. Yeah. So good on us for doing that, right? Yeah. Applause for that. But the fact that they're hiding behind the technology, that's what Claire O'Neill said. He goes, they're scumbags hiding behind technology, which is exactly what they are, right? The fact that they've identified him, it's basically said, here's a police lineup. That's the guy who did it. Yeah. Medibank. That's him. Yes. Who did it. So what I wrote, word for word, I said, it's now possible, it demonstrates that it's possible to drag these online offenders from the shadows and into the light for all to see. Mm. And I think what you said, his anonymity being taken away from him now, and that's what they play on, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. Although he could create another alias for himself.
But he can create aliases. But if he's trying to big note himself as this genius, then some places, some nefarious organisations he deals with will be put off by the fact that he's no longer anonymous.
So you're saying they've made him radioactive.
Correct.
So he's kind of, okay, we better not deal with you, mate, because
I think the champagne might have gone away a bit for him.
Okay.
Early days.
Yeah.
And look, this is a tough one to comment on, because I was on TV after 2 minutes after this happened. It's like, I'm just listening to it like you were. I don't know.
So we've got a cyber expert in Trev along.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know, mate. It seems like this, So you do have to make this up as you go along. So I've thought about it a lot afterwards, and I really feel like the anonymity removal is the most powerful thing that they've been able to do, and I think that's great.
Well, that's their greatest strength is their anonymity.
I think that it you know what, it'll lead us into the next topic, which is Optus, right? Because there's a bit of a transition here, right? Optus's data breach. You know, I don't think we'll ever know who did that because I'm not sure because of the type of information. Medibank was very personal, very deep, plus much more of it was published online, right? Optus was only 10,000 details.
So you were saying that Medibank, where didn't we say, because Medibank followed soon after Optus, right?
Yes.
So I think we concluded that Medibank were a lot more open about it and were sharing information. Optus was a little bit more circle the wagons and let's see what happens. And
Optus has still never admitted what really happened.
Yeah, I understand they're circling a story about Optus and more information about the actual data breach that we're going to hear about in the coming days and weeks.
Yep.
But Medibank appeared to me and you that they were a bit more cooperative and open, and look what happened.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the point is, I think it pays publicly to be open and transparent about these things.
Yeah.
So I think that's powerful for Medibank.
While Medibank were cooperative, and I know the Australian Signal Directorate, they had help, and the AFP had help from the US, the UK, New Zealand. Are they still going to cop a huge fine for their?
I'm not sure the fines existed back then. The fines are tiny. Like it might be $2 million.
Yeah,
it should be 20
tiny
million
for a company. You're right. Yeah,
because
it was more than 9.7 million Aussies had their data, and we're talking medical information, personal information.
Remember,
sensitive stuff.
Let's just reflect. These people were on the dark web saying that here's a list of people with heart conditions, or here's a list of people that have depression, or those kind of things.
And this bastard.
They were.
Yes.
Yeah, really trying to play with people's lives.
Because, were they trying to? Was it initially a ransomware? Did they want them to buy it back off them?
Yeah, absolutely.
And Medibank said, "No, sorry, mate."
Yeah, and the government said, "Don't pay it." Yeah.
And so, to what extent did information get out? All 9.7 million. Was
I
on the
don't
dark
believe
web?
it was all 9.7 million. It was a stack, though. I remember looking through some of the files, going, "This is enormous."
And so, were they doing this to try to? I'd assume they're trying to profit, trying to sell the data to someone else.
Yeah, they were trying to sell.
They were marketing it. They were
100%.
trading it,
which is essentially what the dark web.
That's what the dark web's for, isn't it? Right.
So it's a big win. It's a big win, and it is
sends a message.
Sends a message. So it's a congratulations to Medibank for being open. It's a congratulations to the government and their organisations for doing that. But critically, it doesn't stop any Australian being vigilant. Okay, because the people's still out there.
Yeah,
these things are going to keep going.
Don't think that you're not
businesses.
That you're not going to be a target. Yeah,
businesses have to take this seriously. Individuals have to take this seriously. It's not going to be the last time.
No,
at all.
Do you think? And I think you brought this up in one of your discussions of it. Do you think this makes Australians a bigger target? Or does this make us a bit more hello?
I worry about. So this bloke was part of a criminal gang essentially called Revel, and I worry that his associates are now going right. They've
Challenge
outed
accepted.
our man.
Yeah,
like pick and stick. Yeah. Let's go.
Hold my beer, sort of thing. Really,
I worry about that.
Ooh, okay.
Don't you think that's like these are criminals? They're gangs.
Maybe, but if you say someone broke into your house and you identified who they were, are their mates going to try break into your house again?
Bit different
because they're associated. So don't you reckon that his associates would be natural suspects of anything happening?
That's a good point.
But
they also just think they're better than bigger and better than anyone
bigger
else.
Bigger than the law. Bigger than the international sanctions.
I thought the law and the law one. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. But I would be, if I was a big organisation with a lot of data, I would be triple checking the fences today.
I got one word for you: encryption.
Yeah, that. Yeah,
and 3 more words: end-to-end encryption.
Yeah, I'll give you another word. 2 words: penetration testing. I'm not being naughty. That's what you should be doing.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're not doing pen testing, you're mad.
Well, in all seriousness, that's an industry, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
They hire like hackers technically to say, right, come at us, see what you can do.
I was having a conversation this week.
That's the penetration test that Trevor's talking about.
I was having a conversation this week with an individual who works at a major telco, and they were talking about how their job is to attack their own business,
right?
To find the holes.
Yep.
They're an internal team basically,
right?
Whose job is to just find, and they were
Come at
the
me.
things that he was going to do were mind-blowing to me. I'm like, you're going to
Wow.
do this kind of thing, and that's how you're going to get in. But they've got to do what a criminal would do.
Absolutely.
That's the whole job.
That's it.
Good luck, folks.
This is Two Blokes Talking Tech.
Well, some more news from Optus, and we did discover that at the time of the Optus outage, do you remember the date of the Optus outage off the top of your head?
November 8th.
November 8th, correct. On that day, Optus stated that 227 people were unable to reach emergency services through 000 because of the outage, Optus's own outage.
Yeah.
It's come to our attention that Optus really drastically underplayed that number in the interim. So in the time of the outage itself up until yesterday, and their ongoing investigation, they've discovered that a further 2,468 customers were unable to connect to emergency services, which added to the 229. It was actually, I think, Kelly Bayer Rosemary at the Senate inquiry said 228. The actual figure was 229. So add that to the 2,468. You got 2,697 customers who on November 8 were unable to connect to emergency services. Nearly 10 times more than the initial number of people.
And at 6:37 on November 8, Optus said, we're aware of an issue. We're working to identify it. In case of an emergency, you can still call 000. That at 1 o'clock, they said, we're aware of some mobile phones having issues connecting to 000. If you need emergency services, we suggest an alternate to device. Their information essentially on this was not great because so that's actually really interesting. I've just dug this up because at 1 o'clock they're saying we're aware of some mobile phones having issues connecting to 000.
So you're
right?
saying 1 p.m. on November 8?
Yep.
Right.
So I just looked at another email because they sent a lot of emails that day. At 10 o'clock that morning, they said we encourage customers who need to contact emergency services to use a mobile line to call 000. Optus can confirm that 000 calls will not work from an Optus landline. Mobile calls will work if another carrier is available. Then 3 hours later, they knew that it was that mobiles weren't working.
Yeah.
Then they get to the Senate and they've got 200 calls. Now, the thing here is it's not just about it failing, right?
Yeah.
There's some sort of obligation that occurs that when a call fails, the telco is responsible for a welfare check.
Yes.
They need to basically ring that person and say, are you okay? Can we get you any help? Because you tried to call 000.
Yeah.
So the gap here is the 2,468, which sounds like a made-up number. I know it as well.
Yep.
The 2,468 people who tried to call 000, didn't get through, and did
no
not
one
receive
checked.
a welfare check.
No welfare check. And I think Kelly Bayer Rosemary made a big deal of the fact that they did check with the 220, was initially 29. She said 28. And she said that thankfully everybody was okay. So in this time, they've got another 2,468 customers who were missed out. And have they been checked?
Yeah. No, they haven't. And they've got a third-party investigation into now the welfare check capabilities of the organisation and stuff like that. Now, credit and kudos to Optus for releasing this data.
Yep.
Okay? That's important that they are honest about it. Yep. But they've only done it because they're going to get caught out when ACMA looks into it because ACMA's doing an investigation. So they were going to get caught out. They've had to provide this data to ACMA. They may as well provide it publicly.
Yep.
They may as well take the hit, essentially.
Well, they've kind of gone ahead of rather than giving it to ACMA and ACMA releasing the information, they've said, look, here's what we've done.
Which, as we well know, with previous conversations about ACMA and the way they treated Telstra recently over a fine,
they sort of
it's actually probably a smart move from Optus because the headline would have been very different if written by ACMA.
Exactly, yeah.
No, I'm serious.
Yeah, no, true. I remember. And
maybe they were listening.
Because ACMA...
Maybe Optus was listening when we spoke about...
It wouldn't surprise me.
ACMA, no, it would surprise me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so, they got ahead of it. But...
Definitely.
How long have they known? What do they know? And also...
So November 8th, that's 10 weeks ago now?
Yeah, it's a while.
So it's 2.5 months ago.
Also, how does this happen? How does a fundamental part of your... communications fail, but then again, the whole bloody network failed.
So let's talk about then what's supposed to happen. So if there's an outage on your mobile phone, what's the system do? If there's another network available, you can switch over to that one?
It should be.
Isn't this what Senator Hanson-Young was asking about?
Well,
Switching to another network?
so there's a difference between switching to another network for all your calls and how the 000 system should work. The 000 system should work so that if you need to make call 000, you make it. If you're out of range of your telco and in range of another telco, you can call 000. It will work. That part should work. And actually, we don't quite know whether these 2468 were all the 2,700 of them were in range or out of range. I suspect that if they were out of range of Optus, it would have worked because their phone would have gone, I'll just use Telstra.
Network. Yeah.
But because their phone could still see the Optus network, that's where the calls failed.
Right.
You with me?
So they could see it but not connect to it.
That's it. And so the phone, the way the phone works is, look, if I can't get out, I'll go out that way. But the phone could get out, but where it went to led nowhere. So it's Optus's network failure that failed the 000 system.
I've got another question, and I don't know whether Optus is obliged to answer this or whether we'll find out ourselves. Could someone have lost their lives during the outage because they couldn't connect to 000? Is that something that they can find out?
Mate, there's 2,468 people that need to check.
The odds are high that potentially someone didn't receive life-saving treatment or something.
I'll tell you right now, we should have checked this, but if they have not made those welfare checks, even though it is 8 weeks later, then that's disgraceful. In the same way that when 10,000 names were leaked the year earlier, I said that there's 4,000 staff at Optus, just pick 1,000 of them and make 3 phone calls each and you're pretty close. Yeah. Mate, just the executive team at Optus is probably 100 people. Yeah. Just get them all to ring 10, 20 people during the course of one day, yesterday, and check on everyone.
Yeah. Would a customer have, I know there were businesses and talking about compensation for lost business, right? Would a customer who maybe lost a loved one have a legal case against Optus?
I want to work on the assumption that no one
would we
lost
have known
their
that?
lives.
But would we have known that already? Would they have even revealed that information? How does it work?
I'm going to work on the assumption that I don't know, mate. I don't know.
Well, because, mate, there's 2,700 people couldn't ring 000, and not everyone's ringing about a cat up a tree. They're ringing up because someone's had a heart attack or something's happened that they need help, emergency help.
The interim CEO said, I offer my deepest apologies to all those customers who are unable to access 000 services and did not receive a follow-up check from us.
Yeah.
We are writing to each customer individually to apologise for this and provide the opportunity to discuss that. Mate, pick up the phone.
You're a telco. Get the phone happening, yeah.
There are 2,500 people. Honestly, I could have rung. How many people could you have rung today if you were sat at a desk with a phone?
30 people.
I think, and let's be real. Yeah. Every fifth person is going to be angry and they're going to talk for half an hour. They're going to just yell at you, right?
Yeah.
So that's
how many of them are still Optus customers?
Well, no, but it doesn't matter. You still got to find them. You still got to track them down, right? Mate,
they would have kept their number.
You're writing to them?
Yeah, I know.
And I'm really annoyed I didn't read that quote properly.
Yeah.
I would have ripped them a new one this morning. Don't you reckon?
I agree. It should have there'd be someone picking up the phone.
Pick
up the phone. You're a telco. Pick up the phone.
We are writing to it. Pick up the phone. Because our entire team is committed to addressing, mate.
This isn't the last we're going to hear of this.
Phone.
Yeah, this isn't the last we're going to hear of this. There's going to be some fallout from this, and I don't know how soon did they realise that there was an extra 2,500 people that weren't able to connect to 000. I'm saying that probably in the last couple of days.
I think weeks, because I think the last couple of weeks, because they've had to validate it, they've probably checked. I don't know, man. I want to give them some credit. I want to.
Well, good on them for coming through with it.
That it hasn't been 4 weeks.
Well, I'm really curious as to. I'd be very surprised if 2,500 people something didn't happen to someone because they couldn't connect to 000.
Yeah, it's a question of what's the percentage of calls that are life threatening and whatnot. So yeah, it's a numbers game, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And that many people, I honestly hope that they received the treatment they needed and weren't left hanging out to dry by Optus.
I don't want to be that guy and an ambulance chaser, but let me tell you this. If you're one of the people that called and couldn't get through and you get this letter, I want to see it.
Yeah,
so
I'd
bad.
like to read it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I want to see
I
it.
want to read it.
Because here's the thing. I'll tell you another thing.
Yeah.
About how this company needs to start dealing with its customers. Okay, I'll forgive the fact that you're not going to make phone calls. I'll never forgive that. You're going to write letters. These letters better be personally, physically hand signed by the CEO.
So you reckon
not a computer signature.
You reckon they're going to actually send a letter, a paper letter, or an email? Writing to them could mean an email.
Could mean an email.
Could mean an email, which would they receive straight away?
They better get the CEO's
I'd be
email
very
address.
surprised.
It better not come from we're sorry at optus.com. It better come from Michael Venter at optus.com.au.
Yeah.
You with me?
Mm.
You've got to show that personal
touch,
attention.
While we're talking about interim CEOs, are we any closer to getting a?
No, they must be
proper
hanging on
CEO?
for the Gladys thing.
You reckon?
They must
you
be.
What the Gladys?
She's
ICAC
appealing
appeal.
the ICAC thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so you reckon she's still a candidate?
That's the only
one of the
logical
one of the
explanation for
front-runners.
why they still have an interim CEO.
Yeah.
Because this is the
Well,
thing
we've had
right
Christmas and New Year and
now.
stuff.
They've missed. I'll just use their internal candidate, Clive Dickens, as an example because I think he's a good bloke and I think he can relate. If he just stood up today and go, we stuffed up, and I don't think he would let them write a letter. I think he would ring. But a new CEO with passion for people would have handled this differently.
Yeah, it needs.
Mate, you don't put out a press release about
touch.
this. You need to put a face to this
It
company.
needs a personal touch.
A face who is going to get smashed.
Yeah.
Every day. What again? Why was I talking about this morning, not them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Woolies is under fire for Australia Day. Their CEO's up there.
their CEO stood up. Didn't do very well in his interviews.
No, but that
watched
doesn't
him on
matter.
9 and Chiji He struggled a bit, but he stood up.
He stood up.
He stood up. Yeah.
He took it.
Yeah.
He was there, and I don't know. I don't care what you think. I think that matters.
Yeah. That's a story for another day. The Woolies, all the Woolies stuff. Maybe for the private. We'll talk about that on the private.
I am just filthy that I didn't read this quote properly. I smashed it out so quickly. I'm really angry.
Writing to people.
I'm more angry now than I was an hour ago.
Yeah, and Trevor did a cross from out the front of Optus. You were on private. You were on public property. You weren't on their property. I was just waiting for the security guard to come and give you the hook. Say, "Oi!"
Just see an arm and then
See an
me
arm
disappear.
Getting you pulled out of picture. That would
Come
have
up
been
with a
great
bloody
TV.
nose, going, "Well,
That would
Optus
have been
is great."
Mate, that would have been like a current affairs story. They get the reporters get a bit. They get roughed up a little bit.
It was never going to happen. They're not that kind of
Imagine
company.
them grabbing you by the upper arm saying, "Hey, come with me, Mr. Long."
I did post to Instagram just so people knew where I was in case I disappeared. Two blokes talking tech.
Everything about tech you never wanted to know. This is Two Blokes Talking Tech.
Two Blokes Talking Tech is proudly supported by Arlo, and Arlo, great range of cameras if you want to keep an eye on your place. And this is a good time of year to be doing that. There's a couple of reasons. School, back to school offers, you get up to 20% off selected products.
Yeah.
But also, being back at school means you're probably back at work and you need to keep an eye on things.
That means there's times of the day when there might be no one there for the first time. Could be first year at school for the kiddies.
That could be it. And so no better time to dive in. There are some pretty solid discounts too. You're still getting up to 20% discount, or up to 40% discount I'm seeing on the Arlo website here of some of their products. So we're talking cameras, camera packs, the doorbells, the floodlight cameras as well. So get onto the back to school offers, but also being back to school, you really got to, that is another good reason because you're probably not going to be home. You want to keep an eye on things when you're not there. You might even be planning a holiday, a little quick little trip before school kicks back in.
Wow.
Then you might want to fit one in, So what was it next week? School's back.
I want to fit one in.
Fit a trip in. Little getaway. You never know. But it's a great way to you to keep an eye on things. And with Arlo, you receive the smart notifications. As if you sign up to their plans, you get the ability to receive notifications based on. So they're smart notifications. So if there's a person, a vehicle, an animal, or a package you receive, you only get those notifications, not every single bit of movement. So if your camera, for example, is facing out to the street or your doorbell, every time a car drives past, you don't want that notification. Nah. You don't want a tree swaying in the breeze. You want the legit notification, and that's how you get it through Arlo. Those smart notifications are a big change, a big difference for the packages. Check them out, arlo.com.
This is Two Blokes Talking Tech with Trevor Long and Stephen Fennick.
Well, Stephen, they foreshadowed this just a few weeks ago, and Sky News has now launched their own streaming subscription app, and it's pretty slick. It works really well.
Yep.
I've literally, just while I've been talking, I've fired up the stream and cast it to the TV. It works great. No dramas at all.
So that's the thing. So you can get it either through the website, a browser, or through an app.
Smartphone.
So either way, so if you can cast it then to your telly.
Yeah.
So it's not its own smart TV app.
No.
It's an app on your phone, tablet, or browser.
$4.99 a month.
Chromecast.
I'll tell you, I did
$4.99
have
or $5? It's $5, isn't it?
$4.99 is what it showed up on Apple, because Apple only has
$5 a
certain
month.
numbers, right?
Right.
But here's the thing: I had some issues signing up.
Oh.
When I first signed up, I'm like, yes, and I signed up through Apple iTunes, right?
Yep.
So it's going to be a recurring subscription. And then I linked my account, and I went, I don't have an account, but then I realized I do have an account. So at some point, I kind of cancelled out of the process. So I've got a subscription with a stream, but when I go to the website, I can't use it.
Oh.
So I've ended up cancelling the subscription. And I've gone to the website and signed up. So that's where I paid the $5 full through like my normal News Limited account, which is where I have my Daily Telegraph subscription or whatever. My other subscriptions are there. Yeah. So that's like a separate thing.
What's that cost you a month?
I couldn't tell you.
Telegraph.
I don't know.
Oh, you paid a yearly thing, did you? Or?
I don't know.
It's only like $4 or $5 a month.
I just don't look at those kind of things. No, I
doing
really don't.
very
no, but
well.
stop.
Doesn't look at the bill doing very well.
Anyway, it's because I get the weekend papers. So it's
just the weekend papers.
Just the weekend papers.
Oh, so it's only a couple of bucks then a month.
And I can't even work out how to log in to find out how much it costs.
There you go. That's how good the system is.
That's how good the system is on the News Limited website anyway. But so look, here's the thing: 4
channels included.
It's real. No, it's only 3 on the page.
Sky News Extra, Sky News Weather,
and Fox Sports.
Australia's only 24/7 weather channel, and Fox Sports News. So sport, news, weather.
Now I instantly cancelled my Flash subscription. flashnews.com.au, cancelled it.
Right.
I was paying $8 a month for that.
Okay.
I cancelled it.
So, but you get more, don't you, with that?
Correct.
How much more?
Well, it depends what you watch, right? They've got bucket loads of stuff on Flash. They did sign up a bunch of channels, little ones, big ones.
BBC, all those.
If it's a news channel you get on a Foxtel, it's on Flash News, right?
Right.
So it's definitely great value. But honestly, I only really watch Sky News if I'm going to go to a 24/7 channel, it's probably because I want to watch Paulie or I want to watch Pete in the morning or something like this.
Yep.
It's something. Or you, of
or
course,
yourself,
on a Saturday.
Or yourself.
Of course.
Saturdays 8:15.
So I really don't watch. The only time I watch Fox News or CNN is when I'm at a hotel in America. Like I really don't. So for me,
I do. You know what? I often turn it on at home to give me that feel like I'm away.
Yeah, really.
CNN. Like I'm like you.
That's
I don't
funny.
watch much of it. I watch Sky News more than I watch CNN in Australia.
Yeah.
But yeah, it gives me.
So
that
I was
sort of-
happy to save the $3 because it's really all I need it for.
So do you reckon customers on Flash are going to ditch that for this, or are this Flash a pretty good service still going there?
I've already
love all your news
I've
channels.
had pretty much instant regret.
Ah.
Because Amanda will once in a blue moon say to me, "How do I watch Sky at home?"
All right.
And I'll say, I taught her how to use the Flash News app, which is on the Android TV. It's on a Google TV. It's on, like it's accessible.
Okay.
So she now doesn't have that option. I need to now make sure that she's got my Sky News account and log in and stuff. So it's a bit different.
Okay.
So
you're saying, was Flash a TV app?
Yes.
Or it was a TV app?
Yeah.
But this isn't?
No.
Right.
So it's
Why isn't this one? Why didn't they do that?
Because that's a lot of money to develop, I would guess.
Is it? Yeah, right. But if you've got an Android TV, that's not... You can't just chuck this on an Android TV?
I don't think so, no.
Right, okay.
No. It's kind of a different platform.
Yeah.
So look, if you're all in on Sky News, it's great.
Yep.
And I think with an election coming up end of this year, early next year, that's probably a good thing for
US
them.
federal election, US
no,
election.
Australian election will come up
You reckon?
as early as...
Early election?
There's some talk of late this year, but it'll definitely be probably March to May
When's
next
it
year.
supposed to be? May 25,
So
isn't
they've
it?
got until September 25, I think.
Right, so you've got a year and a half yet. Really?
Yeah.
Albo's going to maybe pull an early election.
Who knows?
Yeah, wow.
Well, he knows how to break promises, so why not break an election cycle? Hey?
Hey! Wow. Well, mate,
I want my stage 3 tax cuts.
He's called everyone in early to discuss the cost of living pressures when, he should have done that while he was spending all these millions of dollars on the Voice campaign, which went nowhere for him.
So my advice on Sky News streaming is if you only watch Sky News and it's just you, like on your phone and stuff, it's slick, it's fast, it works really well. But if you do watch other news stuff, you're probably better off sticking with Flash. That'd be my take on it.
So who do you watch? Paul Murray?
Yeah,
Andrew
Paul Murray
Bolt?
live. No, I don't really watch Bolsey. I really just watch
Peter
Paul.
Credlin. I watch Peter Credlin.
Peter bit.
I'm on her show sometimes. She invites me on there. You're on. You go. Pete Stefanovic gets you on there sometimes.
Yeah. So I mean, I obviously don't watch Pete often because today's show is more important.
His brother. See, his brother. He's
That's
brushed
awkward.
Pete for the brother.
Yeah, it was awkward.
What's that really?
It's awkward when you go from one to the other.
One Stefanovic to the other.
Yeah.
Hello. Does Pete Stefanovic wear as much makeup as his brother, or?
No, I don't think he does.
wouldn't know
Pete's much more natural.
You wouldn't know that. Oh, you're digging a deeper hole for
Pete's
yourself here.
naturally beautiful. Carl needs a lot of work.
Wow. Yeah, I don't mind watching Erin Molan on a Friday
Okay,
afternoon.
no, not a fan,
Erin, she goes all right.
Yeah.
But I do watch Paul Murray,
Yep.
Peter Credlin. It's and the weekend, of course, with Timmy Gilbert and Janie Searle.
I think it's fascinating because I understand there's only about 70,000 subscribers to Flash News, right?
Right.
So if you say Flash News is at 70,000, they got KO to 1.4 million, they got Binge at 1.5. So with all the power in the world, they've not been able to grow news past 70,000. So there's 70,000 people willing to pay for news.
Yes.
And then you say, out of those, we're going to carve out just the people who want Sky and Sky only. I don't know.
Diluting the
Or
pool.
maybe Sky saw that there wasn't enough promotion for Flash, and on their own platform they can push it harder. I just think that there might be a delusion around how big their digital numbers are with YouTube and things like that, and how much growth. It's that thing I have that nervousness about. You know, do we really have a big audience? Can we really do this thing? Because how many people would really come and do all that kind of stuff?
Talking about us.
Yeah, just generally, you know, we talked about doing live shows, and I'm like, no one will turn up.
Yeah,
right?
they would.
No, they wouldn't.
Yeah, they would.
No, it wouldn't fill
If we
a
have
room.
it at a pub or something.
Wouldn't fill a room.
You don't. Really? You don't reckon we could get a few put bums in seats?
I think we'd have empty seats, and it makes me so nervous.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Whereas Sky, I think, have
Let
come
us
out
know.
going,
Would you come and see us live? Let us know. Would you come and see the Two Blokes live?
Sky would have that feeling of we're huge. We can do better than Flash. Do you know what I mean? Like I think there's that
on their own
that arrogance. Yeah.
Because Flash is Sky was part of Flash anyway.
Yes.
The Sky thought
but yes, it was.
we want to go on our
But you've also got to remember.
So it's like they've left the band. They want to go solo career sort of thing.
Yes.
Is that what you mean, or
Correct.
yeah?
The problem is, people don't realise that Sky is News Corp. News Corp owns the most part of Foxtel, but they're still very different businesses.
Right.
Like Foxtel doesn't really support Sky News in the same way that they do other channels. It's kind of like this poor second cousin, but it's actually you know always in their top 10 programs. It's a wild thing that the way it operates. I reckon.
how does this go in relation to the upcoming Hubble? What is this? Does this do anything to that?
It won't have anything to do with it. No.
Will news be part of Hubble?
Flash might be on Hubble, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can't go to the launch of Hubble because it's on the night we record.
I know. February. It's a Wednesday, eh?
Yeah,
Wednesday
it's
evening.
Wednesday night, yeah.
I'm going to email my non-attendance then to the event.
Well, that's, it's
So
important.
you are you going to be around that day? Or
I'll
you
probably leave the
flying
day
out
after.
that
I'll probably leave
afternoon?
the day after.
Because why don't we do the podcast from there? Just take a couple of mics. Oh, you want to take the cameras too?
No, I'm not. I'm never doing the cameras
we don't
remote.
do a camera remote?
No.
If we do a live show, you would set up the cameras for live. We have to if it's a live show.
Well, I refuse to.
No, but if we did a live show, it'd be live to people who aren't sitting in front of us as well as the people who are there.
Would it?
Is that what your idea of a live show is?
No,
or
I was
we've
just
got
talking
our
about
wires
I
crossed?
was talking about a live in-person show.
Live, without
recording.
cameras.
No, I was
without
talking about a
everything.
live recording.
Live audio recording.
Yes.
But we'd have cameras too, wouldn't we? We might as well.
Well, if we had a crowd, I'd make sure there was cameras, but I'd be too nervous and don't think people would turn up.
Okay. Let us know. Would you turn up?
I look forward to the 3 emails.
And where would you have it, at a pub, or where would you have it?
We've been through
where
this
would
a
you
million
have
times. I don't know. Somewhere small so that it didn't look empty.
it? So the Sydney Opera House is out there, or
That wouldn't be my first choice.
Enmore Theatre? No.
Also, not in the top 20.
I'm joking, mate. We're not Nate Bargatze. What's his name?
No,
Remember
no.
we saw him at the end.
Enmore, yeah, he was good. All right.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're talking about now. Goodbye.
Me neither.
This is Two Blokes Talking Tech.
Well, we've heard streaming services.
Yeah.
We already know Netflix really they paved the way for what defines a household and where you can watch their service.
Yeah, they certainly did.
So we're hearing, and I remember at the time one of the streamers that said, "We don't care where you watch it," was Prime Video. Remember that? Remember Prime said, "We don't care where you watch it. you're still a member, whatever. Now, just in the last week or so, Disney Plus have sent out an email to their subscribers saying that there's going to be a change to the terms and conditions. Now, and part of the changes of the terms and conditions is changing the definition of a household and sort of their interpretation of your household.
Well, it's actually they're adding it. It didn't exist before.
Yeah, right.
So when Netflix did their crackdown, I went back years in their terms of service, and their terms of service have 4 years, like 5, 6, 7 years, referred to a household and the usage of it and all that stuff.
Yep.
And I also checked Binge and Stan and Disney and Amazon, and they did not.
Yep.
So Disney, up until a week ago, did not reference account sharing or households in any way. But now
they are.
They do. And what does that mean?
They put a date on it too. I think March the 4th is the date that I read in that email, which is a couple of months, less than like 6 weeks away.
When you say March the 4th in that email, that was the terms and conditions email?
Yep.
Yeah, but that's just the terms and conditions. It doesn't say they're going to actually kick people off.
I know, but that's when the date that they mentioned in the email. Are you looking up the email?
I'm trying to, but I don't remember what. We're updating our subscriber agreement.
And it says here, beginning on March 4, the prior version of the subscribe. This will apply then. Up until then, the prior version will apply until March the 4th.
Doesn't mean that on March the 4th they're going to kick people off or start the process.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that. It just means they have the ability to. Because Netflix had it for years and didn't.
Okay. Well, why would they put a date there?
Because you've got it legally. Like legally, they've got to give like 90 days notice of changes or something like that.
Okay,
you know.
Okay.
That'd be, I think, mainly why.
And I love in the whole point by point. One of them was, of course, we're reflecting limitations. They're reflecting limitations. So they're not saying it's happening. They're reflecting it.
Yes.
So reflecting means, let's think about it. We're
Cunning.
Reflecting on it.
We're thinking about it. This also, by the way, follows Bob Iger, the CEO, said last year they were doing this.
Yeah.
Just to be clear. So we know it's coming. The CEO said it had to happen.
Yeah.
You know, like an earnings call or something.
So,
and we know Stephen's view on this, folks. Stephen does not believe that this is a thing.
Well, why should you pay your money? Your money should be for getting you and your 5 profiles access to the service.
So you could just sell 4 profiles to someone else if you're a single person.
I wouldn't sell the members of my family.
But you can.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't do that, though.
No, but you can.
I understand you can do a lot of things, but I wouldn't do that. And that's not how it's designed to be used, though.
I know, but people are.
Yeah, no, but
people are definitely.
I think there should be some good
sharing
faith.
the cost with their mates.
In good faith, the customers, myself included, who two of my kids
You're looking at this selfishly.
Well, I'm not. My money's as good as everyone else's, right?
Yes,
and
but you're not seeing it through the eyes of Netflix, who know
want to
that
gouge more money.
23-year-olds are joining in together, and 5 of them chipping in $3 each to get Netflix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
when they should be paying $15 each.
Yeah, and that's why so. Because of those actions is why we're seeing the household defined as the thing.
That's it.
Well, I think that's unfair. I understand that, and I reckon that'd be a pretty small percentage of people doing that.
I think it'd be a large percentage.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, you know, if you can prove that all your family members are watching it, you know, if I can give them proof that my mother, my kids, my wife, and myself are all part of the service, then why should I have to do that?
I got back from America, had the powers off at this office for 2 weeks because I just went, I'm not here, so I turned it all off.
Yeah.
And turned on Netflix, booted me out. I'd been watching Netflix here, no dramas for all that time. And then finally it said, you're not at home. I went, oh crap, they've worked out my office is not at my home.
Ooh.
So even this premises here.
So you're separate now to your own home.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not right.
I chose that I'm travelling. And just to see how long it lasts. I don't know how long it lasts.
Yeah.
But
does that last for like 9 days or 10 days or something?
I think it lasts for a week or 3, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
I don't know.
I'm not happy with that. That's, you know, and especially if you've been a subscriber for a little while.
So again, you want loyalty. They don't offer loyalty. Why should we expect it?
I don't know. It's just my optimistic approach to things where they should give you the benefit of the doubt.
Full?
Give the benefit of the doubt. Yeah.
Mate, it's empty.
Yeah.
It's not even half empty, mate. It's empty. And they don't care about you.
Yeah, I know. My kids are going to be disappointed if they can't watch that.
Has it not? What's happened?
Yeah,
though?
no, Netgear's kicked in. It's just me and Joe now at home. But
So what's happened with the kids? What are they doing?
they're just out on their own, mate.
They got their own accounts.
Got their own ones.
Did they migrate them?
I think they did. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they kept their history, their viewing history,
yes.
and their favourites and all that.
Yep.
And they went out on their own.
Oh, they're empty nest. You're empty Netflixes.
No, but hang on a minute. My bill never got any cheaper.
No.
So, but again, you can't have all the cards. You know what I mean? Like, if they're going to do this, give me a discount. If I'm only going to have 2 people in my household,
but there's people that live alone that pay the same amount as you.
Again, another reason why there should be another tier for people. Give them, like, are they just going to have an all or nothing approach here?
No, but there are tiers for the number of screens that you can have watching.
But if you want 4K, which is everyone's got 4K now, you've got to go to the top one and nothing else. There's no other option to watch 4K on Netflix than going to the top option.
Here's your problem. You won't vote with your hip pocket. You've got to cancel your account for them to get the message.
Yeah.
You're not going to do that, are you?
Probably not, because my wife...
He's not going to cancel Disney Plus either because they've got Star Wars. You'll probably give them more money.
Disney Plus has got Star Wars. Netflix doesn't.
That's what I'm saying.
I know,
Disney Plus is about to introduce this same thing. Who's sharing your Disney Plus account?
Everyone. Yeah, everybody. Yeah. And so, I think there should be a bit of give and take here where a customer should have some... I'll use myself as the example. I used to have 5 profiles and all taken. Me and all my kids.
Yeah.
Now there's only 2.
Yeah.
And I'm paying the same price.
They're just profiles, mate.
Yeah. Okay. But there should be...
Should you get a discount on your car because only one person ever drives it?
No.
Should you get a discount on your car because it's a 5-seater and there's only 2 people in it?
No, totally different argument, mate. It's a totally different argument.
Is it?
Yes, it is. Because the car is a physical product that I purchased, right?
Yeah.
Netflix is a stream that I can stream, whether it's one person streaming or 1 million people streaming. There's no more effort or less effort on Netflix's end.
Oh, do
you understand?
You're degrading their product.
No, not at all.
Doesn't change the fact that they've put a value on their service.
The product is streamed.
You won't cancel it, and that's the problem.
There's no physical need. There's no effort for Netflix to stream 1 million times or one time.
There is a cost.
Difference.
Well, there is a cost.
Well, the actual product itself is in the ether, so there's no manufacturing costs. There's no impact on their side of the business.
I feel like
there's an impact
moving
on our side of the business.
What is it called? Socialism? What's the issue?
No,
what do you like?
No. Look, if you pay for a service or a product, you get the product.
Yeah.
Right? I'm paying for a product which is the Netflix service for up to 5 profiles, and
within a household,
they're changing the goalposts.
No, they see.
Well, but they have changed the goalposts. Before it didn't exist like this. Before we could do it.
Their terms and conditions have always said this.
Okay,
you just didn't know.
Disney Plus is changing the goalposts.
Correct,
because
100%.
Before you could do it,
100%.
and I reckon it should be this: if you're an existing subscriber with people using your profile outside of your household, it should stay that way.
I don't disagree.
If you're a new subscriber, then you got to abide by the new rules.
On this, we agree. Yeah. Because what they're doing here is they're saying, as of March the 4th, the rules of operating our business change.
Yeah. So it's...
Now, our choice is to decide not to do business with them anymore, which is what they would argue.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, it's like, hang on a minute. I've been with you since the start, but they don't care about loyalty.
That's it.
And you're changing the goalposts, so you should be the ones that go, so it's for new people from now on.
Exactly right. That's what Netflix should have done. And look, Netflix, the move was hugely successful because they increased their subscriber numbers, share price went up, everything went up because idiots like me didn't cancel the subscription because I'd get grief from my wife and other people in my household.
I'm paying
for
my mother-in-law because I don't want that grief.
There you have it. So I don't know. There should be some reward for being someone who's been with you using your service for a while, and the fact that you decide one morning we're going to change it. That I think it should be pay for what you do, pay for what you get, no matter where you are. But that's what they decide to do, and unfortunately, Disney Plus are following suit.
I love firing you up.
But I think wasn't fired up. I'm thinking just giving my side of the argument.
This is fired up.
How customers would react.
This is fired
You know,
up.
like, and look, in all seriousness, right? In all seriousness, let's be serious. This is coming at a time when customers are doing it tough.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
And this is maybe their little bit of pleasure they get is having this service and their kids being able and the other people in the other households being able to access this service. This is their little bit of entertainment that they get. And now that's going to be made even harder because they want to make more money. They're greedy. They want to increase the subscriber numbers, and unfortunately, people are they're gonna suffer because something's gonna have to give because of this decision. Something else, if they don't decide to cancel their subscription, they may decide another service may suffer, or another thing that they do in their house, one less thing they do together as a family might be lost here. So. Yeah. You know, I think they chose probably the worst time to do this.
Yeah,
it's not like
I don't disagree.
Everyone's flying and sort of everyone's prosperous and not struggling at all.
Yep.
Then, yeah, I think the timing of it's pretty poor.
I don't disagree. Two Blokes Talking Tech. Let's know what we think.
This is Two Blokes Talking Tech with Trevor Long and Stephen Fennick.
Thank you to the great people at Netgear who continue to support Two Blokes Talking Tech, and the range of Orbi products is there to give you complete Wi-Fi across your entire home. Performance is at the core of what Netgear does with their Orbi products. They have a great range for every home, every possibility, and you can find that entire range on their website. The best thing is, though, you can follow a simple little survey, like 5 or 6 questions, and it'll tell you which one is right for you, depending on how many people in your home, what you do, what you stream, and how many devices are connected. So that's a great way of finding out which one to buy. And when you do buy it, you can buy directly from Netgear, and you can get the black option. There's a black version of the Orbi product, which does look very nice.
I've got that. Very
well
nice.
Worth checking that out.
Yep.
Also, Stephen reviewed the new Wi-Fi 7
Wi-Fi 7
router. I'll have that up
Cracking.
early next week.
Yep.
It's a cracking product, really easy to set up.
Yep.
You're connected to it right now, Stephen.
There you go. Bang.
Booming. Look at the speed.
Wow.
Just
Should I do a speed
unbelievable.
test? Do a speed test?
No. Well, 90 and 40. What do you want to know?
Okay.
Like, it'll be
So
good.
is that what you're on here? 90 megabits per second?
Yeah.
So you got you're on the 100 plan?
Yeah, 100 plan, yeah.
No gigabit per second plan?
No, not in
At home
here.
you got that?
Yep.
What,
Yep.
the office not good enough for that? Or?
Business account. Yeah.
Right.
So it's another issue. We'll get into it. I'm looking into it. Anyway, netgear.com.au for all your networking needs.
This is Two Blokes Talking Tech with Trevor Long and Stephen Fennick.
So this one is near and dear to our hearts.
Yes, it is.
Because we roam constantly with Vodafone whenever we're travelling, and frankly, it's really simple. There are other roaming options. Telstra has roaming. Optus has roaming. Kogan has roaming. Boost has roaming. There's lots of roaming options. But honestly, none of them yet are still as simple and effective as Vodafone. $5 a day for the amount of data that is included in your standard plan, not bonus data. So if you're on a 40 gigabyte plan, you've got 40 gigabytes bonus. 40 gigabytes you can use while you're overseas. Yep. You can make phone calls. You can take phone calls. You can make local phone calls. Same, unlimited phone calls. But it's
so
just
basically use your plan like as if you're in Australia.
Correct. Yeah. Use your phone like you're at home. Yeah. And that's just such a great thing.
And there's no limits like Optus Telstra have like a data limit
per day. Like it's 100 gigabytes or 100 megabytes per day and all this kind of stuff.
So
you
closely.
do have a concern over that. Now, new data from Vodafone this week says they reckon you could unnecessarily pay close to $330 per day when uploading and downloading data on your phones travelling internationally. The average Vodafone postpaid customer downloads 109 megabytes of data per day when travelling overseas, which is an increase of 34% on just a year ago.
Well, I'd be over 109.
I think so too.
Because I often use mine. Like when we travel, like we were at CES recently, I reckon half the time I was there, I was connected to my phone.
Yeah,
I think not to the Wi-Fi.
I think probably more than that for me.
Yeah, it was something that I had to have because some of the Wi-Fi was a bit spotty where we were, and I think, well, I got a connection here through T-Mobile or whoever I was roaming with.
Yeah,
and that was the great safety net.
And I think this is an interesting one because when you put it in context, right? Vodafone just come up with ways of articulating it. A TikTok video requires about 13 megabytes to upload or stream a 60-second TikTok.
Wow,
that could be $39 if you're paying data the way some of the others charge it.
Jeez.
So look, it may not be that that $330 a day is probably a bit extreme, but the reality is that if you're paying per megabyte for a plan, you need to be cautious. And I don't want to be cautious when I hate having to think about it when you're traveling.
Me too. Yeah, I'm with you. And imagine you connected with like all the stuff we upload and download when we're working overseas. Imagine having a look at a meter saying, I can't do this because it's going to be too much data.
And we're working, but even when you're going on holiday later this year, you don't want to be beholden to not upload an Instagram story, to not. Yeah. You know what? Sometimes you're traveling, you're getting a coffee, there's no Wi-Fi, and you do just want to actually switch off from the world for a bit, and you want to flick through Instagram, or you want to flick through TikTok or whatever. Yep. It's not a crime, but that's data. Yeah. So I think it's fascinating that we're way past the $10,000 bill shock days of years ago.
Yeah, definitely.
And we're in a good spot now with roaming. But I do find it amazing that no one has come genuinely close to Vodafone's offer.
Is that because Vodafone have so many international partnerships? I know Optus is like, Asia and Australia, Telstra's Australia. Is it because of that Vodafone has more international relationships?
They've done a better deal.
Really?
You know, the Vodafone Group is really just a kind of shareholder in Vodafone Australia. Oh. You know, the company is not Vodafone globally.
Yeah. I know, because like in Europe, Vodafone's pretty big, but in the US, they roam.
We're roaming on you can roam on AT&T or T-Mobile.
Yeah, I was roaming on T-Mobile more recently. I was getting better service through T-Mobile. Yeah. And frankly, my hotel, the Wi-Fi was spotty. Like sometimes the Wi-Fi was terrible. Yeah. Other times it was really good. But I thought the one thing that was constant was the phone reception was pretty cool. Yeah. And I used that. Yeah.
I've stuck strong with $5 a day. It works out. I mean, for CS, it's like 10 days. That's $50. But that's $50. We're away for 11 days. $55.
Yeah, that would have been 10 times as much. Yeah.
And I didn't have to worry. That for me is what matters most. You just don't have to
interesting the amount of data though. That's really, really interesting.
Yeah. Like it's a solid
average,
growth.
109 megabytes a day.
On their postpaid customers, 34% increase. So there you go. The Vodafone reckon other telcos charge up to $3 per megabyte. I mean, I think that's probably the kind of top up or the data excesses, but I don't think you're seeing that a lot. But I think if you were to compare, because Telstra and Optus, I think it's $10 a day and it's a megabyte limit. Yeah. And that's
megabyte or gigabyte?
No, as in it's several. It's like 100 megabytes or 200 megabytes. Yeah. It's not.
It's not a gigabyte, is it?
You're not getting gigabytes. No,
really. I thought that was a gigabyte. Optus offered a gigabyte.
Maybe Optus do. Yeah. Who's using them though?
Don't call AAA with them.
Wow, there it is. Unbelievable.
Joke relevant to the topic of the day.
I
remember I text my message to you and you said what did you say?
I said everything's uploaded here. It's all good, and you said more reliable than a AAA call on Optus.
There you go.
It is a good line. I might use it myself.
There you go.
I wouldn't mind getting that one away on TV at some point.
Right.
Just got to do. If I could just do a segment about reliability of something.
Yeah.
This one's more reliable than a AAA call on Optus. That would bring the house down.
Boom.
And it also, media monitors would go nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Trevor's up to his old tricks again. Trevor, Optus. No, well, you know what? We're reporting the facts here. Reporting the news, we are.
They could have called.
Yeah. Yeah. You mean to tell you about the O?
Could have called us.
Well, they just sent a statement. They sent a statement out.
Why wouldn't you give a heads up on that?
Yeah. And I like how it was sent out at 5 p.m. on a. Did you notice that? Was you yours early? You got those the same time as me?
No, same time.
Right at the end of the day. So if that was sent out at 10 a.m., that would have been on all the TV news. Or even at midday would have made the TV news. Yeah. Interesting timing. Yeah. What do they call that? Putting out the garbage?
Putting out
the trash? Yeah.
It's normally a Friday afternoon job.
Arvo, yeah. This was what was this? A Tuesday Arvo.
Tuesday Arvo.
Anyway.
Good luck to you, Optus.
Good on you.
Two Blokes Talking Tech.
This is Two Blokes Talking Tech.
All right, Stephen. Well, that's just another amazing podcast in the can.
Wow. Give yourself a rap, don't you? No, I agree with you, mate. It was a good one. That was a good show. That was a good show. They're all good shows. What do you mean?
There's been a couple of duds.
Mate,
name your favourite dud show we've done.
What?
Hey?
Are you talking about dud episode or dud show? We do a lot of shows here.
Oh, wow.
Are we talking about episodes?
What dud shows do we do?
None.
Oh, right.
I'm just saying.
Episode. Name an episode you hated. Oh, no, Bruce Bromley hates the Apple ones.
No. They're like your children. You love them all equally.
No.
No?
No. If you had 617 children, you'd have some favourites. And you'd have some that you'd go, you know what? Let's not invite them to Christmas.
I don't think people are going to respond with that, mate. They just, it's like asking, it'd be like Peter Overton at Channel 9 saying, tell us your favourite news broadcast from the last month. You're not favourite. They're the broadcasts. It's the stories. It's the day.
Mate. Please don't equate us to Peter Overton.
No, but I'm
ever
just
again.
saying it's very hard to go back and remember. Oh, that one, that episode sucked.
My least favourite one was that one where you bagged Carl Stefanovic.
You mean this episode?
I didn't say anything.
You said you asked.
No,
You
think
said
when you listen
caked
to
on.
the edit,
You're gonna edit it now.
I'm gonna feed your voice into AI.
Caked on. You were saying.
Feed your voice into AI.
Wow.
And change it up.
Good luck with that.
All right, mate. See you next week.
Take it easy.
Goodbye.
This is Two Blokes Talking Tech.